Welcome back to Ion Motive, everybody. Super pumped to have you here today. I'm feeling great. I've got a cotton candy flavored bang. Actually trying to get them to sponsor the show, sponsor this podcast. No, completely kidding, but that would be pretty awesome. But anyways, in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about why cynicism sucks. But before we do that, I do want to give you guys an update on the t-shirts on the shop that I'm trying to get uploaded to my website. Unfortunately, the company I was using does not do a great job printing the t-shirts. The designs look pretty great, but they don't last very long. So I'm going to look elsewhere, try to find another company to do that through. So that is going to be pushed back a little bit longer. Honestly, I have no idea when those will be done, but I am working on them, and I apologize, but I will try to keep moving forward with that, and I'll try to update you guys as we go along with this show. But now, let's talk a little bit more about this episode. You know what? Like I always say, let's just dive right into it. So a lot of people are very cynical about the state of the world, about our country, about the people around them, about themselves. There's a lot of pessimism going around. And I'm just here to remind you that having that kind of attitude, being pessimistic, being cynical, is never going to do you or the people around you, or the world for that matter, any good at all. Just recently, I was scrolling through YouTube trying to find some great motivational videos to watch, and I found this one that I really liked, and I'll make sure to leave the link for it down in the show notes. And here's a quote from it. So it's actually a Teddy Roosevelt speech from the Men in the Arena speech. I don't know if that's the actual title, but that's what it's called in the YouTube video. But here's a little excerpt I took from it, paraphrased a little bit, but I really, really love this. It says, "There is no more unhealthy being, no man less worthy of respect, than he who either really holds or feigns to hold an attitude of sneering disbelief toward all that is great and lofty, whether in achievement or in that noble effort which, even if it fails, comes to second achievement." Unfortunately, I think a lot of people are doing this right now. They have this pessimistic attitude, and they're tearing down what could be good or what could be made better or just something that's already good. And we've got to get over that. I know that has been a problem throughout humanity's history, but you can change your attitude. You can change how you handle situations. You can change your behaviors to try to rid yourself of this toxic attitude. And it will greatly benefit you if you do so. I have a few insights that I want to talk about that involve this idea of cynicism and how you can overcome it, how to move forward. So I'm guessing this is probably going to be a shorter episode, but still think there's going to be a lot of great information in here for you. The first thing that I really want to talk about is that there are a ton of things you can be cynical about. I mean, you can literally take any issue in your life, any problem, COVID, whatever it is, and have a negative attitude. You can just become very pessimistic. But doing that is never going to do you any good, right? Life is always going to be challenging. And if you haven't figured that out yet, you're going to. And I'm positive that I have no idea the extent that life's challenges can bring. I know that they can be a whole lot harder than the ones I've faced. But I do have somewhat of an idea that life can be tough. But we have the option to choose to face those challenges in any way we want. So yeah, there are plenty of reasons to be cynical, and there are just as many, if not more, reasons to be optimistic, to be hopeful, right? You're going to face the challenges of life no matter what you do. So you might as well confront the challenges head on. That is extremely honorable. That's really my first insight. Confronting the challenges of life is extremely honorable. A lot of bad things can happen, and even when you're doing everything and anything right, life can still hit you in the face, throw you around, and beat you down. And that's just a part of it. But having a really shitty attitude about that, about those challenges, about your life, about the state of the world, whatever it may be, is going to make the problem even worse, or the problems even worse. I truly believe that the worst part about being cynical is that you make life a lot worse for yourself, but even worse, you make it so much more difficult for the people around you, for your family, for your friends, for the people you actually care about. You know, when you're going through those tough times, you can be the one to have a little bit of positivity. You can be the one to be hopeful, to be optimistic, to be the guiding light, to help people move forward, to help people overcome their challenges. Just being that little spark can go a long way. Before we move on to the next insight, I'm going to share a principle that I think is invaluable to living a good life. When there is a problem ahead of you, or when there is a problem for the people around you, be the one to solve it. Address the problem and be the change that your world needs. When there is a problem that is making yours or the people around you's lives worse, why bitch and moan about it? Why not be the one to start resolving it? I seriously believe that is the way to living a meaningful life. Take responsibility for the problems that are right in front of you so that you can make your life better and the people around you's lives better. I mean, seriously, what else could be more important than that? And you can do that. It doesn't have to be some grand issue. It doesn't have to be the biggest or the prettiest problem, right? It doesn't have to be something amazing. It can just be what's going on in your life, what's going on in your family's lives, what's going on in your friends' lives. I mean, that's right there ahead of you. Why not address that? And that will help you so much. That'll give you a sense of meaning. That'll give you joy. It might not give you happiness all the time, but it'll give you a deep joy that you're living a great life, that you're doing something that is benefiting those around you, that is benefiting you. The second point I want to make clear is that you should never discount those who are aiming up or people who are taking action, trying to make their lives better, trying to improve their character, trying to better the world. I mean, what a sad thing to do. What a low thing to do. Is there nothing else you can do with your time than rip somebody apart, right? That's not going to do you any good. It's just going to make you bitter. It's just going to make you resentful, and obviously that is no good. So, I do want to make this clear as well. People may mock you or tear you apart for your failures, for when you don't hit the goal you want. But I think a person is not necessarily defined by the outcome they get. I think a person is defined by the initiative they take. And even if they fail, there's more honor in striving towards something great, something lofty, some high achievement, than never trying at all. Even if you fail, the moral act was there, and I think that's what's really important. You know, a lot of these big movements were not accomplished or not fully seen through by one person. So I think of somebody like Martin Luther King, right? He was facing an uphill battle from the start, and he didn't get to see the end product of his efforts because obviously he was assassinated, but his efforts started that. Even if he didn't fully achieve it, he was the catalyst, and his actions, his moral act was so honorable, so noble, and it allowed other progress. It pushed us closer to where we needed to be, and then other people stepped in and did the job as well. For a personal example, in the times where I've given it my all, given everything I had towards some goal and failed and not achieved the result I wanted, I've never, ever, ever regretted it. I've never regretted trying. So I think of playing football in college. My goal was to get a football scholarship, and I never did. But I gave it my all, and I can honestly say now that, you know, I didn't get the results I wanted, but that does not bother me whatsoever because I gave it everything I had. And really, that's what matters at the end of the day. The next insight I want to talk about is that if you're in an environment where the people around you are cynical or toxic, whatever you want to call it, you have to get out of that because that mindset will spread like a virus and destroy everything you're trying to reach. Will destroy everything that will allow you to progress. There's that concept that you are the average of the 5 people closest to you, and I don't know if that's actually scientifically proven, yada yada yada, whatever, right? But I think that is at least partially true. When you're around good people who are striving to do noble things, you're probably going to do the same. And when you're around people who are trying to do things that are not necessarily great ideas, you're probably going to engage in that behavior, engage in that kind of thinking as well. There's the cute phrase that your mind is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds, you can grow flowers or you can grow weeds, right? What you surround yourself with is going to fill your mind, and that's going to partially dictate your behavior. So, if you're in a destructive environment, you need to get out. That will kill your growth. This concept is literally no different than eating good food. So if I eat my fruits and vegetables, if I eat a lot of protein, if I drink a lot of water, stay away from sugary foods, I'm going to feel great. If I eat good, I'm going to feel good. And it's the same thing with your environment. It's the same thing with the information you're putting into your head. So if I'm hanging around good people, if I'm listening to great speakers, great podcasts, if I'm reading good books, if I'm putting these good thoughts and ideas into my head, then I'm going to get good out of it. But if I'm in a toxic environment, same thing as eating bad food. If all I'm eating is sugar and, drinking way too much pop, all that kind of stuff, then yeah, I'm going to get bad out of that. Nothing good comes from that. Nothing good is going to come out of that. Same thing with a toxic environment. If I'm surrounding myself with people who are making poor choices, if I'm listening to people who are cynical, then I myself am going to become more like that. And obviously, you probably don't want that. So be very intentional with what you're putting into your head. Listen to podcasts that will help you grow. Read books that will help you improve. Surround yourself with people who push you to be a better individual, who will help you develop your character. So those were really the 3 insights that I wanted to talk about in today's episode. That was all I really had for my notes. But I'd like to end on a little bit of a higher note, so I'm just going to spitball here for a few minutes. I've always been aware that when I set some goal that's lofty, challenging, difficult, I've always known in the back of my mind, whatever that goal may be, that I might not ever reach it. So for perfect example, this podcast, I'd love to get to the point where, I've got a team who's helping me create these, where I'm doing speaking on the side, where pretty much my career is all based around this. And that might be a difficult thing to get to. That might be a difficult point to get to for a number of reasons. That just might not ever happen. And that doesn't mean that I should never try. Just doing this page has been one of the most rewarding processes I have ever done in my life. I mean, just pouring my all into it, trying to learn, trying to figure out all the technical details that go behind it, doing everything with it. There's so much work behind the scenes, and it has pushed me so much. It has helped me grow so much, and I am so thankful for that. I've had multiple people DM me and tell me that this platform, my podcasts, have helped them a ton. And had I never tried, I would never have grown to the level that I have. I would never have received those DMs. I would never have helped people, even if it's, not the level I want it right now. I would never have experienced that kind of joy. And that's really why I do this page. I get so much joy out of it. And, if I'm only in it for the result, then stay away from it, right? I'm doing this because it makes me feel good, and I'm trying to help people who are going through similar challenges. And attacking that problem head on has been one of the most rewarding processes. Even if it never, ever, ever gets to the point where I want it to, where it really grows and really takes off, I know in my heart that I gave it my all, and I'm going to keep doing that so I can try to get to that point. But, if 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road, it's time to retire, hang it up, then so be it. But growing has been one of the most rewarding processes. So if you're ever trying to set a goal, if you're ever trying to aim for something huge, if you're ever trying to achieve something that is great and lofty, try it. Because, like I said earlier, even when you fail trying to reach something noble, when you're acting in a great manner, trying to take a moral action, even when you fail, you did all you could, and that's ultimately what it's about, right? It's not always about the outcome, it's about the initiative that you take. And I think if you live your life with that in mind, you'll be all right. You'll be more than all right. You'll move forward, and you'll help a lot of people around you do the same. Whew. Yeah. I'm not gonna really edit that at all, because that was from the heart. So, that's really all I've got for today's episode. I think next week for the 30th episode, because that is a little bit of a milestone. That's quite a bit. That is quite a bit. I've been doing this for quite some time now. It's probably coming up on a year. So I don't know. I'll do something special. It probably won't be an interview. Probably try to do an interview for the 31st episode, but maybe I'll just share a little about my life, or just talk about some other random thing, some highlights of the page. I don't know. We'll see. But it'll be a good one. It'll just be more of a fun one, I think. It'd be good to do that. Take a little break and, just enjoy it. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But other than that, that's really all I've got. Again, I appreciate you guys so much for listening to these. It means the world to me. And I say that a lot, and it's probably getting redundant, but I truly mean it. It helps me so much. It keeps me going. It really, really does. So I will ask you once again, if you found this episode valuable, please share it. Share it on your story, share it wherever you watch or listen to this, share it with a friend. That would be great. But regardless, you know how these end. Once again, I'll see you next time on episode 30. Until then, remember the ion motive. Take charge of your healing.